Hello YouTube, and welcome to another video in the series How to Get My Channel Demonetized. So, about yesterday I received one of the weirdest requests that I've gotten so far. It was by Mr. Ayaz Hamid, and he requested me to search into the lore of the STDs in the Elder Scrolls universe. He probably intended it as a joke, but if you think I'm not gonna take these kind of weird requests seriously, then you've apparently never watched this channel before. So with that said, let's take a look at the STDs of Tamriel, essentially sex education with Zork. And don't worry about it, I won't get any graphic. Why am I doing this? Alright, so to start with, for those who don't know out there, an STD is a certain disease that you can obtain through one or more unprotected sexual acts. In our world we would be talking about diseases such as AIDS, which comes through the HIV virus, and stuff like chlamydia. As you probably suspected the moment that you click this video, there isn't a lot on this topic, which is why I made this video a little extra video in between my regular upload schedule, so I can do a regular video coming Thursday. That said, I was very surprised to hear that there is in fact lore into these subjects, so let me show you what I found. Now, most of the lore that we have around the topic of STDs in Tamriel is only slightly hinted at for obvious reasons. It's in sort of Easter egg, so to speak. However, there is one very interesting quote in the book The Wolf Queen, specifically in volume 4. Here someone describes the then Emperor Antiochus Septim by saying the following. Antiochus Septim had impressed his subjects with little but the enormity of his lust for carnal pleasures, and he was enormously fat and marked by every venereal disease known to the healers. Antiochus spent little time on politics. This quote specifically mentions the existence of venereal diseases, which is more or less a synonym for sexually transmitted diseases, so STDs, meaning that they do exist in the Elder Scrolls universe. Now, in terms of what exact diseases are sexually transmittable in the Elder Scrolls universe, we don't quite know. However, there are several diseases that we can speculate on quite good grounds that they can be spread that way. Now, the most prominent example that people will probably first think about when hearing this would be the different diseases that are vampirism. So, for example, sanguine vampiris. Pureblood vampires, for example, are infected in a ritual with Molag Bal, which is sexual in nature, and a lot of people seem to agree that the infected humans can in fact spread the vampiric gift in that way too. It seems logical, however, the problem is that we have no direct confirmation of this ever happening, for obvious reasons, as, you know, Bethesda usually just say, well, they got infected and they don't really say how, and it's basically suspected that most got infected through a bite. However, this could be a way that it's transmitted as well between humans, instead of it only being the way for Daedra plus humans. So in the case of Molag Bal and the infection of pure vampires. The same case goes for the corpus disease, or the blight as it's called in Morrowind. It's said to be very contagious and that one can actually contract it through another person's fluids. So that way I would suspect, and I would speculate that that too is transmittable in this way. However, for that too, we don't have any concrete written examples of it ever happening that way. Now, there is another disease named Ticklebirch, which is contracted using a hoe in Oblivion. You get it? Using a hoe. Now, that's most likely a way by the developers to pun on the way on how one would actually get the disease in lore. When you use the hoe, you get the disease yourself, and people you hit using the hoe also have a 40% chance of contracting it. As I said before, this is most likely a joke by the developers, but it seemed too clear of a play on words not to mention it here, as I think that if this disease actually exists within lore, I mean, you wouldn't get it by using an actual hoe like the tool. This is probably a play on words on how people actually get it in the Elder Scrolls universe. And that is basically all we know. However, there's one more little thing present. In Harani's report in the Elder Scrolls Online, there's a sort of slight reference to a man who had sold ointments against a form of syphilis, because the old name of syphilis is pox, and which is directly referenced in that little note. As I already warned you, there isn't much on this subject, so I made it a very short video, which is basically an extra bonus video. But this was such a weird of a topic that I just had to do it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it, or at least are enriched by this piece of knowledge. Now, if you are not, I'm sorry, then watch my video on Thursday for a more normal topic. That said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, consider liking this video and sticking around for more Elder Scrolls lore content, which is a bit more normal than this one, or watch one of my backlog videos. Also, allow me to thank the amazing people on screen, my patrons who make these kind of videos possible. And that said, I will see you later in the next lore video, but before I go, let me warn you, I think Skyrim itself may actually be an STD, as my girlfriend suddenly started playing Skyrim after we started dating. He's gonna kill me for that joke, but I'm keeping it in.